Our startup stories, and we're very lucky to have a very last minute stand-in, but Carami Olsen agreed to come and stand in for Crystal today. Carami is the founder of Pilula. So Carami, if you'd like to come to the stage. Give Carami a round of applause, everybody. I'm going to have Carami introduce herself to you, then I'm going to put her little screenshot up, and then we can start.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? All right, my name is Carami. It's Carami like Jeremy. And
my bad.
No. Yes, the only people that have been able to pronounce my name correctly the first time was when I was in Japan. That was wonderful. And I said, oh, never had that happen in America, growing up in America. But anyway, I'm Carami, and I'm the founder of Pilula. So Pilula means pill in Latin. And I was really, really happy when I found that name. And as you kind of put together a company and you come up with a name, you search high and low, and this one just hit. It was perfect. So what we've been doing here at Pilula is we've been innovating products and tools to, enhance people as they kind of move along in their life, and we want them to be able to stay out and about and feel beautiful and continue their life with style and ease. So the first couple of products that we've made the Pilula Pod, and that is a beautiful pill case. And then we've made a tracking app to go with that. So, and that's called the Pilula Track. So I can show you guys.
Yeah, why don't you show them the pod?
Okay.
And then we can get into asking you some questions.
I know. I brought my notes because I get kind of nervous.
That's okay. It's unusual because normally we have service-based companies. I think you're the first product company that we've had in the Startup Stories segment. So. Okay.
So what we have here is a beautiful pill case, and I'll just open it right here. It's got 7 easy scoop compartments. It really turned out lovely. We've just finished manufacturing. And when you design something, I went through, I don't know how many prototypes, at least 10 or 12 prototypes. It was a real process to get exactly what I wanted. So open and close magnetically, and it's just been wonderful. And inside the box, and that's what brings me to Tech Alley, is our app, the Pilula Track, and you get an annual subscription to the Pilula Track when you purchase one, when one's purchased. So
perfect.
That's kind of just
that presentation.
Quick. Yeah, that's
they'll find out more about it. Okay, so tell me what made you come up with the Pilula Pod? What was the problem that you were solving?
Okay, so I come from a family who's always taken supplements, and during COVID, my dad had a pill case, and he was taking his vitamin C and all the vitamins, and he said, Carami, you need to carry one of these around. And I said, I am not carrying that thing. And so I just realized I was kind of vain. And then I'm like, there must be people like me. And so, driving home from that trip, I said, someone needs to design something beautiful, an accessory that's beautiful, especially, as you're kind of coming up and aging, and you'll need to carry some sort of, something. And I just said, my biggest dream would be to design something beautiful enough that I could do a collaboration with Louis Vuitton. So that was 3 years ago, and so I kept that in my mind all the time. I said, it has to be as beautiful as something Louis Vuitton would collab with us. So that just really kept me going, and that would be the dream of dreams.
Okay, so you came up with the idea. Mm-hmm. What was the next step for you? How did you start the company?
Okay, so I was coming out of, so I had a company when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, and so I kind of had that entrepreneur spirit already. I moved into more of a day job for a good decade, and then I was like, you know what, maybe it's time to jump back into entrepreneurship. So I said, I'm going to do this, and really, when you just don't know, you just don't know. You just start researching, asking, talking to people, and one of the first people that I found, and it was just super random, was Amanda Elliott, and she's with the SBDC. I walked into the library because I wanted to know about manufacturing, and there she was, and I'm like, hey. So I met her. I became a client of SBDC, and she just really kind of like moved me along on setting up the company correctly and just making sure that I just did everything the right way so that I was protected and all of that. And as we went, I realized, okay, I need to make a prototype. I need to have a design. And so here and there, you would just I'd talk to people and talk to people and talk to her. And she introduced me to my first designer, which is Kyle over at Blackfire. So I ended up at Blackfire quite a bit. And he brought me as far as he could go. And then he said, now you need an industrial designer. And I'm like, that's not you. So then we found George at Moonfish Design, and he came up with several options for me, and just a beautiful, beautiful collaboration there with George. I really, really appreciated his attention to detail and got me everything that I needed for design. And this is coming from drawings that I came up with and kind of testing sizes with pills. And then
did you do prototypes here before you went to manufacturing? Did you build any
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how many?
Yes.
Yeah, different iterations.
So definitely several different sizes of prototypes. They were all 3D. 3D printed.
Yeah.
All of those were 3D printed. So we ended up with a perfect prototype that is exactly the way the manufacturing is. I mean, he did a really good job to get it really, really close to exactly what we needed. Mm-hmm. There have just been a few small changes with manufacturing.
So you've done a lot, it seems, in the time that you've been. How long have you been doing this for?
Yeah. So I mean, I started off. So this is my 3rd year, and I started off with customer discovery. We did some focus groups. I mean, I don't feel like I've cut any corners. So
no,
I'm really, really proud of
that's
everything.
definitely the right path to take. Look at the market, see what the opportunities are, see what the need is. Mm-hmm. Look at the competition. What is the competition for this?
So, okay, that's interesting. 3 years ago, I did a competitive analysis, and there was I searched high, and I searched low, and I searched high and low, and I only found one that was out there, and I was like, oh. And since that time, there's 2 others that have come up with as big competitors. And, that actually, I think I've said this before, that actually makes me very happy. And the reason is because it proves that there's a market for it.
It validates the market,
Yeah.
validates the need there,
and I'm kind of glad that they came out.
Yeah. So how have you financed everything that you've done up until now?
Ooh, bootlegged.
Okay. Bootstrapped.
Bootstrapped. Bootlegged.
I know. Everyone knew what you meant.
You know what I mean. Oh, well, So I bootstrapped everything. I've bootstrapped so far. I've been to several sessions with Fusion 42, and I don't move fast enough for Kurt. I know I don't. But
nobody moves fast enough for Kurt.
He wants us to go like lightning speed. But we've just gotten this complete. The package is together. We're looking for product placement, and as soon as I have a certain amount of sales, then I will be searching for funding, and I'm hoping to do that this fall.
Okay, fantastic. So what have been your biggest challenges to date in developing a product, getting a product ready for market, finding manufacturing, and getting your first products off the production line?
Know what? I wrote these down because I didn't want to forget. So early on, I worked my day job, and I think the biggest challenge early on were just the baby steps, how slow it went, because I could only do like 1 or 2 tasks a day that had anything to do with this idea and this business. So that was a huge challenge for me. I wanted to move faster, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this ever, am I doing the right thing? The setup seemed like it was forever. So more recently, my biggest challenge has been a solo entrepreneur. Everyone has been contracted that's been working with me, and I just, some days I'm like, am I making the right decisions? You just have to make those big decisions, where you're going to spend money and what you're doing. And being a solo entrepreneur has been a really, really big challenge for me.
But coming to events like this and, building a community around you, like you've done, is how to overcome that, right? So you don't want to work in a silo. You want to have people around you to bounce ideas off. And it sounds like you've done that.
When I was over at Blackfire, they were wonderful over there. When I went to my first Tech Alley downtown, they've just been so great. I see so many of the faces out there that I learned or met from there too. So yes, such a great community here in Vegas. And, once you get outside yourself, you're like, I'm not in this by myself,
No, definitely. Everybody in this room here, this isn't a room for open networking. We're all here to help, advise. Is there anything you'd like to ask anybody in the audience, any of the attendees, advice on, if there's anything that's maybe troubling you or challenging you, or the next steps moving the business forward that maybe somebody can give you some advice on? What would that be? Okay,
I have a couple of things that, my next step would be product placement. First of all, I'm looking at luxury gift, med spas, places like that. And so, if anybody has any any product placement ideas. I've already gotten some today from a couple of people, so thank you so much. And then
are you looking to go to brick and mortar or online or direct to consumer? What's your path to market?
Okay.
DTC? Is it going to go through distributors? Are you looking to go retail?
Okay, so my number one thing right now, I'd like to write wholesale orders. I don't have a big enough marketing budget to sell retail, like one-offs.
Right.
So we'll definitely have that e-commerce out there, but I can't expect to make all of my money that way. So definitely get into brick and mortars, and I'd be willing to talk to distributors too. They need to really make a big order if we're doing that. Yeah.
Okay. So again, back to the question: is there anything that you would need advice about? Like, what would that one thing be that kind of keeps you up at night?
No.
Or is there more than one thing?
Yeah, there is a lot.
There's always something. I know the entrepreneurs in the room will tell you that there's always something that keeps us up at night.
So I need to bring. It's still early enough that I'm interested in a partner. So I would. That being said, I would need to bring someone on that has strengths where my weaknesses are. So
what are those things that you're looking for? Those things that you're
my
looking
weaknesses.
For? Well, no. What strengths are you looking for?
I really do need somebody in operations. I really do need somebody to get in here for operations. I could use the help there. Finance isn't my favorite thing in the world, but I'm not daft about it. I'm really smart.
QuickBooks.
But if someone would do that and I could check it, that would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So
does anybody have any advice for Carami?
Yes.
Carami.
Yes, Carami.
Okay, Carami. We have somebody.
I guess the first thing I was wondering, especially if we're looking at going wholesale, have you thought about what would you say if somebody says, "I love your product," come up with the whole product line?
Come up with what?
Whole product line. Like you're selling one product. So
Ooh.
ready for that?
We are. I mean, we'll get there. I do have a whole product line. I had a whole product line drawn out when I went to the designer. So I do have some things on the horizon.
What direction would you be heading in? When you say a whole product line, what types of?
So iterations.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. I want different sizes of the Pilula pod. Number one. When we did our customer discovery, people wanted them large, people wanted them small. And we went somewhere right in between. We decided on about the same size of a cell phone. So definitely different sizes on that. We'll be able to easily make different colors. I want a Pilula pod sport. Definitely want a sport that stays closed and still has a unique look and an aesthetic that people would like. So it made out of different material. And then as far as the app goes, the app features. I mean, I could develop those app features for sure. Did that answer your question?
I think so. I'm curious about your price point.
Okay, we can talk after. Yeah.
I think the key thing is right now, I don't know if you made it clear, but the app is independent of the pod.
Yes.
Of the Pilula pod, right? So I think, and I actually have a background in prescription drug safety and pill control and that kind of thing. So I think that a next natural progression would be aligning the app with the pods, so it tracks when someone takes a pill. It gives a notification. Maybe if it's a caregiver wants to know if someone's taken a pill, they can look and see whether or not the pill's been taken.
Thank you so much for answering that for me.
I'm just saying. I think we talked about that a little bit, and I think that's something that I think you're going to want to look at as a future version of the product. Is you can still have just the pod, but then you want maybe a version 2 is something where it actually adds some other features.
There's a chip
pill
in
management, pill management features.
Yeah.
Over there, gentlemen.
If you've ever ordered anything off of Amazon, you think it's this big, and you find out it's this big. Now look at this. It looks like that pillowcase is bigger than you.
Okay. I guess up here it sure does look like it, doesn't it?
Have a quarter or something.
Yeah, to show the actual. Yeah, it's a good
idea.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And make sure you include dimensions
for sure
when you're selling the product.
Right.
For sure, product dimensions.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you. Good point. Over there.
You spoke a little bit about customer discovery.
Yes.
I was just wondering what channels you used, and I guess how did you interview and figure out the pain points and needs and use case?
That's a really good question. The main thing we used was survey, and it was not, so it was an online survey, so not speaking and interviewing people. So I have had hundreds of conversations with people, but specifically for that we had, I think there were 9 questions specifically that we asked, and we wanted to know size, price point, do you even take pills, do you take them daily, all of that. But it was a survey. Yeah.
What insights did you draw besides the size preferences?
One of the insights was mostly women were interested in this, and so that did cause me to kind of make it more feminine looking.
Actually, that's a good point. So that looks like something that a woman would carry.
Right.
Do you have something similar that a guy could carry?
So coming up, so we have the colors that we'll be launching, like in the fall, will be a darker color and more of a matte. And so yes, that is coming up.
Okay.
Have you thought about product placement with nutritional stores, for example?
I have a certain idea of where I want to keep this brand. So I am trying to really stick with luxury, and yes, nutritional stores. So in that case, I'm looking at wellness centers and med spas. Does that help? Yeah.
Someone's trying to find their way here. Is that you, Gil? You already here? Lady in the red and black dress.
This is a high-end product that needs the right distribution channels. Have you tried Shark Tank?
I have not tried Shark Tank yet. No.
I think you should.
I would absolutely love to. I feel like that's like a year away. I mean, they always ask you how many sales you have, and so we're just getting out there. And yeah.
I have a question. So you said that you don't have the money or something to do DTC, selling one here and one there. Is that what you said?
Well, I feel like that would take a budget bigger than what I have.
Well, I mean, website, e-commerce, Amazon. I mean, a couple of people mentioned Amazon.
Okay,
today.
so I should.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think you should discount that.
No,
because
I'm definitely
that's where you're going to
setting
make your biggest profit margin selling direct
Yes,
to consumer,
so
cutting out the middleman.
definitely we're
Yeah.
setting up our e-commerce. That will be set up by the end of July, so that's no problem.
Okay.
And I am working on an Amazon store. I used to sell stuff on Amazon store like 3 years ago, so yes, those will be out there.
And this room is full of people, I'm sure, that could help you with an e-commerce site, leveraging AI, to get, there's lots of different skills. I mean, does anybody here think they could help Carami get her product to market?
I know.
Show of hands. Okay.
Okay.
Look, hands. Okay.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
So, I mean, seriously, that's what this is all
thank you
about.
so
Like, the
much.
whole point of this is to get you in front of people, tell them what you're doing, and see if there's any way that they can help you form relationships, build collaborations, build community, right? That's what
Right.
this is for. So,
I love
it's a platform for you to try and make connections and tell people what you
I
need.
want to make sure I'm connected with you guys. Yes.
Definitely after, we've got an hour worth of networking at the end
Yes,
to
thank
still
you.
connect. So yeah, if
Thank
anybody
you.
has an idea or thinks that they can help Carami move to the next step, definitely please approach her after the speaking sessions, and then we can see if we can maybe help you move things forward.
Thank you so much.
Does anybody have any questions for Carami?
I think we have.
Oh, there's a question.
Yeah, so my question is, with a physical product, was there anything in this process of discovery or getting a sense of position for the product that just jumped up and bit you, like you didn't expect that people would be using something this way or something that they wanted that this solved?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. So we've discovered those little lotions that are just one pot of lotion, just so you know. I don't know if anyone's ever used those. And we've been talking about it, carrying those lotions, the eyelashes, the eyelash glue, things like that. And this whole time I've been positioning it to carry pills. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So yeah, it could be more than just a pill case.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
the market that you're targeting.
Yes.
So. Anybody else have a question? Okay. Bill.
Manufacturing, where are you manufacturing and what's the lead time from when you place the order to
Yeah.
manufacture 100, 1,000 until they show up in your inventory?
We're manufacturing overseas. We're manufacturing in China. And I will tell this group, I worked for a year looking for a manufacturer in the US, and it really doesn't exist. I mean, it does exist, but I would never be able to sell the product.
So an idea, that's a great question by the way.
Thank
Gil.
you
I'm glad
so
asked
much.
that. An idea, you talked about you made your prototypes using 3D printing.
Yes.
Right? and I've looked at the product, the plastic part of the product,
Yeah.
right? So as you're scaling the business, okay, it might not be a bad idea if you're selling direct to consumer, because you can't order you don't want to be sitting on tons of inventory, but to find a partner that can help you to use the 3D printing process to manufacture locally in
Right.
small quantities.
Well,
Because I mean,
and this-
it's so advanced these days. You could make products.
so the large quantities, I'd have to get back on you with that, and
Yeah.
I believe it would be about 2 months. So, yeah, I hope that answered.
But yeah, no, I mean, have you
Yeah.
thought about doing a Kickstarter or something like that?
Yes, I've thought about it, and I mean, now that I have it, I don't need to. Well, I'm just saying, unless I do my
You
next.
could.
Okay,
You could.
so when I
use
do
that
my
to get your
next
next iteration.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other
So-
questions? Any other ideas? Any other suggestions? Oh, over there.
Can you share what it looks like inside?
Yes, yes. In fact, sorry, I could only choose one picture to go up there. I apologize about that. Let me see. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Yes, and I have some more there on my. So
Looks to me like a shell.
It's kind of like a shell, right?
Yeah. There's 7 sections for 7 days of the week, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Maybe it would make sense.
You can use it however you want.
Right.
So yeah.
Maybe
So-
we can post it around from table to table.
Yeah?
Sure.
a good idea,
Yes,
Steph.
thank you. Sure.
Yeah. We'll do that. We can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can-
we can do
I'll
that
start-
after.
I'll
For
start
sure. She brought us a few samples with us, so we can.
I
show
did.
them.
I did.
Yeah.
I'll put a few samples on the tables.
Can anybody see themselves? Has anyone had a challenge, or does anyone take pills and has to carry pills with them on a Gary? Okay.
I would suggest you look at the medical, pharmaceutical part.
Mhm.
Seniors fail to quite often take their medications on
That's
time.
right.
And if
Yeah.
they're able to be hooked up to a physician or a nurse that's overseeing them, that is a perfect market.
Yeah.
That is one of the things I'm most proud about with the app, the Wellness Companion part of that app. It connects them with the Wellness Companion. They can see what they've marked or not marked.
So the next step would be to add that to the pill pod, so automatically it does the
Yes.
medication management. That's the next iteration. You're right, Gary. 100%.
Absolutely.
Dan.
Yeah, not for me, but I know that my wife will be one of your customers.
Fantastic.
There you go. Get his number before you leave.
I have some here tonight if you want to buy one.
Would love to give feedback.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I do actually have some to buy tonight.
Oh, okay. Make some sales.
Yes.
The tracking app, does it also sync with their medical files?
Not yet. That is something that came up in our research. I mean, when you do a focus group, they start wanting the app to be the sun, the moon, and the stars for them. So we had to kind of phase it. So this is phase 1 of the app, but I can't wait to just continue adding features to this app that's very helpful. So, yeah.
I used to work with a global company called Atlantis Health, and they marketed patient engagement solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So the pharmaceutical companies, when they're rolling out, particularly rare diseases and things like other different things. So because the patient engagement app and your app, you can work with them to become and it's global rollout.
Okay, I gave you my card. I want you to text me so we get connected.
That's the idea. That's why we're doing this. Thank you,
so
Vicky.
much. Thank you. Yeah.
Have you thought about doing anything with the app side of it where you go like a free tier and then have like maybe more features that are behind paywalls or anything like that?
Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. Right now, when you go on the App Store, you get the first 30 days free. Of course, I'm giving it away for 90 days to you guys here, so you can grab it for 90 days with that code that's behind Lorraine. But right now, when you sign up for it, you get all the features. I would love to do that. I mean, we created the app to where it's at, this very first phase, but in the future, that would be great. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you considered integrating like an AirTag style thing?
Oh.
Yeah, find my pill. Find my pill box.
Absolutely. And you know what? That is one thing as a solopreneur. I mean, I'm going to say right now, we should have just done that from the start. Thank you for bringing that up as well. It's been brought up before. So my manufacturer will be chatting about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you thought about making it so that it's secure and you can
only be open with the app?
No, I have not, and I'm going to be honest about that. I don't think that that's where I'm at right now with this company. So this is strictly a beauty accessory at the moment. We've discussed that.
We've
because
had that conversation.
That's
where I came from. I had experience in that space. Yeah.
So no, not right now.
But certainly
Yeah.
something that makes sense for future discussions.
Yes.
And it's a great point, Gil. Thank you.
Yes, no, and the only reason why I say no, like a hard no, because I'm like, ooh, this is all I can handle right now. But oh my gosh, the sky's the limit with it, right? Super excited.
Sounds like there's a
Yeah.
lot of things you could do with this.
Yeah.
Well, from the feedback from the
Thank
audience,
you.
there's definitely
Yes.
some great ideas. Well, we ran a little bit over, but
I know.
I
Let me
wanted
let
to
you guys-
thank Carami for exposing herself,
Thank
being on the hot seat. And please, everybody, definitely speak with her. If you have any other ideas after the speakers, definitely please approach Carami, share your ideas with her, and exchange business cards. Thank you, Carami.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Carami.